Okay, let us see topic biodiversity. Namaskaram to all of you. I am Minil from JNV column. Now we are going to have a small discussion on various aspects of biodiversity, its importance, as well as its various strategies to conserve the biodiversity. See, biodiversity is a variety and variability of life forms on the earth. According to the IUCN 2004, in Earth, the total number of plants and animal species described is more than 1.5 million. But we have no clear idea about how many species are yet to be discovered and described. Large portion of the species are waiting to be discovered are in the tropics only. Robert May placed the global species diversity about 7 million. And see the pie chart given showing the distribution of major taxa like invertebrates, vertebrates and plants in the world. In invertebrates, insect only occupied more than 80%, and in vertebrate, fishes occupied around 50%, whereas in plant, angiosperm and fungi occupied 40% of the total plant each. More than 70% of recorded are animals and 22% recorded are plants only. Among animals, insects are the most species-rich taxonomical group, making 70% of the total. Number of fungi species in the world is more than the combined total of the species of fishes, amphibians, reptiles and mammals. Biodiversity of prokaryotes and viruses are not at all estimated and described. If we accept molecular and biochemical criteria for grouping, then the diversity alone might run in millions. And see the diversity of frogs in the Western Ghats. You know, frogs are very sensitive, having very narrow range of tolerance and distribution. And Western Ghats can also a very suitable environment for such a sensitive animals. Around more than 2/5 of frogs are identified so far in the because can provide ecosystem and also particular temperature without changing much, and the other factors of physical condition of the ecosystem so that varied surviving and flourish ecosystem provided by Western. See the importance of biodiversity. Biodiversity describes the richness and varieties of life on the earth in the most complex and important features of our planet. Without biodiversity, life would not sustain. Biodiversity boosts ecosystem productivity where each species, no matter how small, all have the important role to play. Greater species diversity ensure natural sustainability for all the life forms. The extinction of one species may cause the extinction of another species of that locality. Biodiversity is more important to the survival and welfare of the human population because it has impact on our health and our ability to feed ourselves through agriculture. And from this diagram we will get detailed details of what the importance of biodiversity, how it is related to the human being, climate, as well as what various type of biogeochemical cycle, the life of human being in that particular area, or climatic condition or physical nature of the environment of that particular area, and biogeochemical cycle like oxygen cycle, nitrogen cycle, carbon cycle, hydrogen cycle, everything also controlled by the biodiversity of that particular day. And let us see the importance of biodiversity. Once again, it clean air and climatic regulation through carbon sequestration and gas exchange. It can clean water through filtration. It enrich the soil fertility through decomposing and cycling the organic matter. Soil detoxification and maintenance of soil structure through filtration and root stability. Plant growth control through the symbiotic relationship between insect and companion plants. And food source for the native animals also provided by. Okay, let us see the figure given here. how this biodiversity helping for enhancement of the productivity of that particular area. Biodiversity only helping for the organic matter production, that is input to that particular ecosystem by using the livestock and various type of plants, and the beneficial what you can say biota, then pollinator, predator, soil organisms, then pest and disease management, and it's also help to modify the soil structure, and it's provide enough quantity of water to the ecosystem. Because of everything together help to increase the productivity of that particular ecosystem. Then come to the importance of biodiversity once again. With more plants and trees and animal, the soil improve, becomes stronger, less prone to erosion, drought and flooding. Biodiversity is of great importance in order to maintain stable ecosystem. The destruction of the rainforest causes erosion, loss of very valuable species and change the climate. Biodiversity is not only maintain a functional environment, it is also resource for food, shelter, clothing and other material, as well as balancing a food web. Ecosystem serves human because they provide natural function. For example, the microbes in the ecosystem are very vital in the breakdown of dead plants and animals, and in the recycling of nutrient is also very important, and biodiversity provide actual and potential material and economic benefit of the people. And see the food web given here. We can find varieties of organisms of that particular area, includes plants, animals and microorganisms, and they are all highly related in terms of food as well as energy transfer. Some are producers like plants, and some are primary consumers, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer or quaternary consumers. They are depending each other, helping each other, sharing each other, giving the material and also taking the material. Such type of relation in the particular area between the individual only helping the organisms to survive or ecosystem to survive. Okay, let us see various methods to conserve biodiversity. Effective and efficient mechanism of conservation of biodiversity to prevent further destruction or degeneration of habitat is very essential for the existence of the remaining life on the earth. And the mechanism can be categorized into two types. One is in situ conservation, that is conservation of the living forms, endangered living forms in its own habitat, that is on-site conservation. Whereas ex situ conservation is off-site conservation only, which emphasize the conservation and protection of biodiversity artificially, not in their living place. And conservation of biodiversity is very essential for the existence of the entire life. And come to the in situ conservation, it emphasizes the protection of the total ecosystem. Biodiversity can be conserved by protecting the entire ecosystem, so called as on situ conservation, like protected area, biosphere reserve and sacred forest and sacred lake. And protected area, these are the area or land or sea where found endemism are protected and maintain the biological diversity and natural resources. These are managed by legal or other effective means like national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. And these are all what you can say wildlife sanctuaries present in the our country, where we can see the endemism. Tiger is endemic to a particular area, and tiger lion is also endemic to a particular area. The protected area to conserve. The national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. The World Conservation and Monitoring Center has recognized 37,000 protected areas around the world. India has 581 protected areas, include for 92 wildlife sanctuaries and 89 national parks. It covers around 4.7% of the total land surface, and first Indian national park is Jim Corbett National Park. Then these are all what the different forms of life present in the national park located in parts of India only. Then benefits of protected area. Protected area help to protect all native species and subspecies. It conserves biodiversity of native species. It prevents introduction of exotic, that is foreign varieties in the protected area. It makes the species to change, respond naturally according to the environmental change. Protected areas are making changes very. Then protected areas conserve many forms of biodiversity. Then come to biosphere reserve. A protected areas of land wherein peoples are the integrated components of the ecosystem. The concept of biosphere reserve launched in 1975 as a part of UNESCO's Man and Biosphere program. Till 2002, the total 408 biosphere reserves located in 94 countries, 13 biosphere reserves located in and okay, come to the structure of biosphere reserve. It includes mainly three zones: the central core zone, surrounded by buffer zone, and outermost one is called as for transitional zone. See, core zone is legally protected, undisturbed ecosystem in which plants and animals are to be conserved or living in its natural condition. It is located at the center. Buffer zone. The core zone surrounded by the buffer zone, this area accommodates great varieties of resource use, research and educational activities. Transition zone is the outermost one. This concept is a place of settlement of human, including local people, to conserve and the protect. Then this is a structure. We can find a core area at the center where no human interference, surrounded by buffer zone, is given in blue color. And this buffer zone in which we can find the research centers and educational centers. And the outermost one, that is a transitional zone where the human settlement is there. The people, those who are working in the research centers as well as education institutions, are living in the transitional zone, and these are actively participating along with the local people for the conservation of. And this is our Nilgiri biosphere for the conservation of tiger and this elephant. Then sacred forest and sacred lake. These are the patches of varying dimension protected by the tribal communities due to the religious beliefs. Sacred forests are the most undisturbed forests, identified with rare, endangered and endemic varieties, common in Kerala, Karnataka, Meghalaya and Maharashtra. Then sacred lake like Kechapari Lake in Sikkim, where people protect the flora and fauna of this lake due to the religious. Then these are all the pictures of what the sacred forest protected by the local people for religious functions. Then come to ex situ conservation. It emphasizes conservation of biodiversity artificially, like a botanical garden, zoo, gene bank or a gene DNA bank. Then botanical garden, there are 1500 botanical garden located all over the world. All are having facilities such as gene bank, tissue culture, etc. to propagate its number artificially. It cultivate and conserve special plants of very rare species. And these are all what the different kinds, different botanical garden present in. And zoo, around 800 professionally managed zoos conserve 3000 species of mammal, birds, reptiles and amphibians. Zoos are having a well-developed captive breeding program to multiply the rare species of animal artificially. Then these are all what you can say varieties of animal that we are keeping in the zoo artificially and also doing the captive. So captive breeding technique is what totally artificial one to multiply the living organisms facing the problem of threat. In natural environment, it never go for multiplication, so that we are collecting such individual from their natural habitat and doing the captive breeding techniques artificially to multiply the living organism. See, other ex situ conservation methods are home garden, sacred plants like tulsi, seed bank, cryopreservation, etc. And see the home garden, we used to cultivate varieties of plants around our house for beautification. It includes many rare species of plants. Then sacred plants we used to cultivate in group like lotus, banyan plants, tulasi, etc. because they have religious importance. Then seed bank are the facilities for the storage of seed for a long period of time, particularly in the liquid nitrogen, so that the same seed can be used even after many years and this will not lose its viability. Then cryopreservation, any plant material or animal material can be kept in the liquid nitrogen for a long period of time, so that for any genetic research or for any kinds of production of a new individual we can use it. So we can preserve any plant material like a leaf, seed, or what you can say root, stem, anything, any part of the plants and animals can be kept in the liquid nitrogen for a long period of time. So this is my request to all of you. Be very kind and lovable to all the living organisms present around us. They are having some crucial role to play to maintain the ecological stability. These organisms only determine our existence. So do something and preserve these life forms. That's all. I'm Minil from JNV Kollam.